What happens when your voice actor won't play by your rules 24/7? Well, isn't it obvious? You tell his fans he's dead, right?
It's not fair, 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 not fair! Why won't you forgive me? If you forgive yourself right away! What did I do? Why won't anybody forgive me? Hey, it's into dust together.
PrettyLoneLee, who created his channel on the 13th of July 2020, was a YouTuber known for his ASMR audios, his relaxing Irish-Canadian accent, fantasy tales, and his charming personality. Or so his audience thought. If you're new to my channel, hi, and if you're a regular, hi to you too. I know I've been gone for far longer than I had originally planned. Trust me, a lot has happened in my personal life. And I know this type of video is not my usual content. Hell, it's actually the first time I've tried making a video like this. But I feel like it's something important to share and important to talk about, even if I was only involved with the situation for a short time. So, if you could stick around with me for this one, I'd be super appreciative, and I can promise you some ASMR content will be on the way. I promise. Before I get into this video, I'd also like to put a disclaimer here. This video is going to be looking at all of the information that is currently available on the situation. This includes mentioning of the following things, such as death and sexual assault. However, before anything like that is mentioned, or anything that may be deemed upsetting to some listeners, I'll give you a warning, put a timestamp up on screen, and if you want to skip past that part of the audio, that's completely fine. As I was saying, PrettyLoneLee, who for the rest of the video I will refer to as Lee, was an ASMR YouTuber who was growing fairly fast from his debut in July through to his last official videos on the night of October the 31st and the early morning of November the 1st, 2020. His first two ever Halloween specials. Both of these videos had been set up to premiere, and for a short time after they had been up on the channel, the fans were happy and things were calm. Another short disclaimer before I move on. I know I'm doing this a lot, but bear with me. Unfortunately, due to where the majority of the information was stored and posted, such as Twitter, Discord, and the community tabs on YouTube, now having been wiped, I unfortunately have a very limited amount of evidence to back up what I am saying. However, I have tried my best, thanks to a few amazing people who have shared evidence with me, to give you as much as I can to create a cohesive timeline. However, there still may be some correct areas or some times that are mixed up. If anyone has any more information on anything that I've spoken about in this video or anything I've missed, please feel free to comment below. I'd really appreciate it, and thank you for understanding. On Halloween night, Lee posted onto his Twitter account that he was planning to go out in a costume that involved bunny elements, such as ears. He had posted a photo of his face with the ears on his head, talking about this. This post would be the last time that his fans would ever hear from him on any form of social media. And a few days after the video, The Fear in Your Eyes was premiered, a post was put up into the YouTube channel community tab. This post was posted by Jamie. Now, Jamie claimed that she was a close friend to Lee and that Lee had gone missing, that Lee had never returned home to his campus accommodation, and that she was extremely worried about Lee's safety. On this post, there was a link to the Discord server, and fans were asked to join if they wanted to hear any updates on Lee from Jamie and another mod known as Watchful. Over the next few weeks, both Jamie and Watchful would take turns in giving the Discord server updates on what was happening with Lee being missing. These updates included the Discord server being told the following. A missing persons report had been made for Lee with the local police. People who were new to the server were told that Lee had no family, and so Jamie and Watchful would receive all updates from the police, with Jamie being the contact to the police and Jamie then giving the information to Watchful. During a search for Lee, Lee's clothing that he had worn when he went missing, his Halloween outfit, had been partially found on the side of the main road, almost like a trail, along with his mobile phone that had appeared to have been smashed. These were taken in as evidence by the police investigating, according to the mods. The phone was searched, with apparently nothing helpful in it in relation to the whereabouts of Lee, and was given back to Jamie, who then went through it, finding that a note had been made by Lee with lyrics from the movie Frozen. I believe, if I remember right, these were lyrics from For the First Time in Forever, with the mods speculating that that must have been the last thoughts on Lee's mind before he went missing. The update slowed down for a while, then there was an update about a suspect of which both Jamie and Watchful claimed as being bad news, and that Lee did not have a good relation with, but no more information was given at this point. We will refer to this person as suspect, however a name was given in the Discord server at one point. CCTV was then found to have captured the car of suspect circling around an area that Lee had possibly been in before he had gone missing. The police pulled in suspect for questioning. Again, things went quiet for a bit, with some very small updates being given, mainly on how both Jamie and Watchful missed Lee dreadfully, and them trying to keep all Discord members' hopes up. It would be on November 9th, 2020, that both on Discord and the community tab, Watchful and Jamie would post that tragically Lee had been found dead. Soon both mods were bombarded with sympathy messages and questions, but stayed silent for a while on any details, which would be understandable for anyone dealing with losing someone who was so close to them, someone they cared about, and someone who was their friend, right? When the mods finally broke their silence, over the course of around 2 weeks, various new details were given out. These were mainly only given to the Discord community, with nothing new being posted onto the YouTube community tab for the majority of this time. The majority of these details were surrounding the circumstances of Lee's death. Before I continue any further, I would like to warn you that for the next few minutes there will be mentions of physical violence and sexual assault. If you'd like to skip this section, please go to the timestamp on screen. The details that were given, to the best of my knowledge and research, are as follows. People again asked if Lee had any family that were alive, to which the mods explained that Lee had once had a fiancé named Victor, who was tragically killed in a horrific car crash, and that Lee had always blamed himself for his partner's death, and that it should have been himself who had died. Apparently Victor's family wanted Lee to stay with them, however Lee ran away as he couldn't cope with this. The mods and other members of the server reminisced and shared memories of Lee. The server was told that Lee's body was found in a wooded area near to the road that his phone and part of his clothing had been found. Lee most likely died from hypothermia due to him being outside in the cold November temperatures for a number of hours, according to the police. It was stated at one point that Lee had been ruled to have died on the night or early morning that he had went missing. Lee's body had bruising on several areas that pointed towards him being assaulted. It was then stated that the suspect had picked up Lee and had sexually assaulted him. From here, between Jamie and Watchful, it was stated that the police suspected that Lee somehow escaped suspect after being sexually assaulted, somehow ended up in the wooded area, and would have succumbed to the cold and tiredness before he would die there. After all of this happened, for the rest of November through to January of 2021, both Jamie and Watchful took turns on giving updates on more information, with details of things they had found on Lee's phone and his belongings and on his computer that they didn't understand, such as Lee having a voice note on his phone of him speaking in another language, which they translated to find out that he was trying to sell a necklace. Both mods shared emotions of confusion and anger on feeling that they didn't know Lee as well as they thought they had. Either Jamie or Watchful claimed that they went to the funeral for Lee, of which only a few people went to due to him having no living family. An obituary was posted both YouTube, Discord, and Twitter with a photo of Lee and his full name. However, I would like to put here that unfortunately I cannot find the one that was posted to YouTube anywhere, but it was different to the one that is on screen now. A post was made about the future of the channel, stating that the remainder of the videos that were recorded would eventually be uploaded and posted in remembrance of Lee. This was posted both to the YouTube and Discord channel. Another small trigger warning here for the mention of suicide. Please skip to this time if you'd like to jump over this topic. A short time after these updates, both mods went silent again until, unexpectedly, Jamie would update the Discord server to announce that Watchful had not been dealing with the situation of Lee at all, and had tried to commit suicide and had been hospitalized. A few days after this, Jamie would announce that Watchful had sadly passed away. In regards to this, I have to state clearly that I unfortunately do not have any evidence, save for Jamie's post on Discord, that Watchful did pass under these circumstances. However, we'll come back to this point very shortly. From here, the updates from Jamie were slow and mainly consisted of her claiming that videos would come out as soon as she could deal with listening to Lee's voice again, and random updates about more things she would find in Lee's belongings. Now, unfortunately, between mid-January and early March, I didn't have access to my computer and didn't use my Discord due to things being hectic in my own life. During this time, I don't have any idea on what happened in the server either. However, by March 14th, when I logged into my Discord, I found that the server was gone. From what I have gathered, either the server was completely deleted or everyone was kicked from the server by Jamie, though I'm not sure which is right. Looking onto YouTube around the same time, I also found that the community tab on the PrettyLoneLee channel had also been wiped clean. This confused me as this had included the obituary for Lee, any mentions of his death, posts Lee had made before death, and any links to the Discord server. Around this time, a video had been uploaded to the channel by Jamie, which she claimed was a voice note that Lee had recorded on his phone. This was supposed to be uploaded onto the Discord, but Lee never did this. This video was removed from YouTube around March 28th with no explanation as to why, leaving listeners of the channel confused. It was between January and mid-March that the PrettyLoneLee Twitter account was completely wiped as well. In fact, it was deleted, removing all mentions of Lee's death and his life. However, the username, down to the same capitalization, was taken for a new account that was only created in January 2021. Interestingly enough, the icon used for this account also bears a striking resemblance to the photo that Lee had posted of his face. His Instagram was also wiped clean with only one post remaining and the account being privatized, meaning that unless you were an accepted follower, there was no way for you to see that post. Suddenly removing all the information online that you can, save for videos that are monetized, about your friend who was a growing YouTuber with a following, who had recently died, that you had shared information about publicly a few months ago, all seems just a little strange, right? On one hand, you could say it was grief finally kicking in, losing not just Lee, but Watchful. Or it could be the stress of trying to deal with everything. Or maybe it could have just been spite for everything Jamie had been left to deal with on their own. Right? Well, I hope you're buckled in tight, because we've just hit the height of the ride, and from here on it's going to be a fast, long, and dark drop back down to reality. To preface what I'm about to talk about, I want to make it known that at around the time Lee was announced dead, right up until March 28th, there were a few people who had started to form the idea that Lee was not in fact dead. Jamie was quick to remove any mention of these theories or ideas from the Discord and the YouTube channel, posting how rumors were just rumors and that nothing could ever damage the legacy of Lee. But out with these two areas, these theories continued to circle, with more interesting evidence coming to light the closer time moved towards March 28th. On March 28th at around 9:30 am British Standard Time, out of nowhere, Jamie posted a long statement on the community tab. As much as I would like to paraphrase this statement, cause oh boy is it long, I feel that to truly take in the absolute batshit craziness of the situation, you need to see the whole thing. Though, to save you from reading it, I'll read it out to you. However, there's a lot to dissect here. So, to make this easy, when this image is on the screen, this is word for word what is on the statement. And when this image is on the screen, this is my thoughts on what is being said. Ready? Alright, let's go. Hello, this is Jamie. There is so much to talk about that it is difficult to decide where to begin, so I'm going to walk you all through everything. There are a lot of accusations being thrown at the people who operate this channel, myself included. Normally, our response would simply be to ignore these claims. Well, that seems understandable. I mean, you did just lose a close friend and all. However, legal action has been threatened, so it's our responsibility to comment on this ongoing situation. And given that the vocal talent that we have featured on this channel has been actively speaking out against us, we feel it necessary to address everything. Lee was a fictional character. I'm sorry? Come again? Excuse me? Created by myself and my partner. We wanted him to be this quintessentially adorable Irish-Canadian boy who was a hopeless romantic with an extreme interest in storytelling, which we would share through ASMR. In regards to Lee being a fictional character, this was never communicated to the audience at any point. Most importantly, it was never mentioned during the fantasized death. Another point that I should add here is they could have put this information anywhere. You know, in the description of videos, in the description tab on the channel, like literally anywhere they could have put this, but they didn't bother their arse. Neither my partner nor myself could do the part justice, so we sought out someone to fill the role. We began our search of open calls on Tumblr, Twitter, and then explored Fiverr, looking for a voice actor who captured our vision. One day, by completely dumb luck, we came across a Twitch streamer and gaming YouTuber who we're gonna call C. C looked exactly how we pictured Lee. This statement confuses me on a lot of levels, especially considering that, as far as I know, Lee never made any videos that showed his face. Only a few video calls on Discord. Also, you know, last time I checked, voice actors also didn't need to look like the characters they played. You know, that's why they're kind of called voice actors and not just actors. After watching a few of his streams, he casually mentioned how he'd like to try voice acting in his future, so we pursued him and made an offer. Originally, we didn't want the setup to be too formalized. Strike one. We didn't make him sign a contract. Strike two. Which was our first mistake. We just wanted it to be like friends making content together, under the guise that we were all one person. And strike three. You're already out, and we've got a long way to go, Jamie. Also, considering that they wanted to use Lee as a real-life version of their OC to do everything and anything they told him to do without question, this would have never worked out. Ever. Within days of the first upload, the earliest comments were asking for a Discord server to be made. Despite being a gamer, C had very little exposure to Discord. So we made him a PrettyLoneLee account and added him to the servers of several ASMR content creators. This was our second mistake. Now folks, please remember this. It was Jamie and her partner that added the voice actor under the PrettyLoneLee account to other ASMR creators' Discords, not the voice actor. This point will be important in a couple of minutes. Trust me. We were under the incorrect impression that this would be largely apathetic to most of this and would stick to the character we had instructed him to play. Why would you expect that someone who you have already claimed only looked like this character you had designed, had only known for what I can only assume is a short time? However, there has been debate online about when you started talking to C. But why would you think C would just magically act like a character you had created for your YouTube channel? Would act like this character out with the audios? I mean, C was not Lee. C was his own person. We would even go as far as to sit in on calls with him and feed him lines to say. So, like a live character meet and greet where the person playing the character has no creative control and has to say word for word what they're being told to, save for if they wish to be kicked to the curb, all while their managers are watching over them and breathing down their neck? Sounds familiar. Giving C clear instructions on how to dress, style his hair and makeup, and behave on these calls to fit our mold. I'm sorry, but what kind of K-pop idol bullshit is this? Fit our mold? Jesus. In the beginning, it was perfect. C already looked the part on video calls, but he really embodied the character and voice of Lee to the 9th degree. Unfortunately, as many of you know, C is very charismatic and emotional. He would drink before getting in calls and grew emotionally attached to other content creators as well as fans. C would accidentally share details about his own personal life rather than the constructed ones we had provided for him with for Lee. Why did Lee need a whole-ass backstory? Why couldn't C be the voice of the character, Lee, and then be himself around other creators and his fans? Or better yet, if you did not want him to contact fans under the brand name, you could have just paid him for his vocal talents for the videos and credited him in each of the videos for voicing Lee. Wouldn't that have made more sense? This created several problems. 1. C and Lee are both incredibly different in personality. No shit, Sherlock. Lee is cutesy, naive, the embodiment of a cinnamon roll. This is honestly a little creepy, knowing that they had stalked C's Twitch and YouTube channel only to choose him on looking like a cinnamon roll, cutesy and naive person, and not on his vocal talents? Ew. C, however, was morbid, gloomy, and overly sexual. And? And what's your point, Jamie? You're making it sound like that's not a way people are allowed to act? And Jamie, don't act like you're super naive or innocent. I mean, you were the one wanting the voice actor to do not safe for work content that they themselves did not want to do. Oh, wait, did you forget that? My bad. 2. C and Lee lived entirely different lives, so elements of their stories would obviously conflict with each other. Again, what a shock. The actor doesn't live the life that your imaginary character does. 3. C began to interact with his fellow content creators in a very unprofessional way, flirting and fighting with his peers. Okay, look. From what I picked up so far, it sounds like you only wanted C to respond to people how you wanted him to. Not that I'm condoning his behavior, as I don't know how he acted specifically, save for what you're claiming here. But considering he's a real person, he isn't going to keep to a script that you seem to have been creating on the fly, depending on if you liked or disliked the people C was talking to. and how he was talking to them. Also, just a quick little reminder that you added him to the servers without him having ever interacted with these creators before. How in hell would you have just expected him to like every single person you wanted him to? Life doesn't work like that, Jamie. I hate to tell you, but it's true. For C is not Irish or Canadian, so he would occasionally slip into his own accent. Okay, bring it back again, just for a second. Why on earth would you have gone on the looks of your voice actor over someone who actually has an accent you were looking for the character you wanted played? I feel like I'm going crazy. Am I crazy? Does anyone else understand where I'm coming from? Or like, have I just missed a huge, big old thing about voice acting where I should have been looking like the characters I've been playing? Because like, if so, then maybe that's where I've been going wrong, because I hate to say it, but guess what? I don't look like Junko Enoshima. And I don't look like... I don't look like any of the characters I play. Is that where I'm going wrong, or am I right here? 5. C started developing the desire to buy the channel from us so he could just be a part of the ASMR community. I hate to be the bad guy here, but this seems pretty understandable, considering that you were already getting him to write, edit videos, and also act 24/7 because you didn't want him to be himself or break the illusion of the character of Lee at any point around his audience. If he had been allowed to buy the channel, it would have given him the break and breathing space to be himself and continue this new line of work that he was clearly enjoying. You know, since he offered to buy you out of the channel that he had done 99% of the work to build up. Lee was my partner in I's creation, not C's. We came up with the concepts for the videos and would give C direction during takes. So you just gave suggestions and C wrote all the scripts, or did full improv? I don't know. That seems like that's C's work, not yours. We made the Discord server and the social media profiles, except Twitch, and we would find the avatar creators and B-roll footage for the videos. So, you didn't even source an artist? You literally just used avatar creators. Not that there's anything against that, but you're making it sound like it was hard work. Speaking of all the work you did, wow, such hard work. I mean, please, Jamie, accept my apologies for saying you didn't do any of the work. You poor baby. You must be so tired from all that very hard work. I mean, B-roll footage and creating, but not running from the sounds of it, multiple social media profiles and finding avatar creators? I mean, that must have taken you days at a time. All C did was provide the voice, editing, and what little writing was done because he mostly improvised after we gave him the video concept. I'm sorry. Are you really trying to say that C hardly did anything? Are you really trying to say C wasn't carrying the damn channel from the sounds of it? Improv isn't easy and editing can be a damn bitch. What did you actually do, Jamie? Seriously, I'm honestly curious what work you did, because it seems that C carried the channel, ran the Discord server for the most part, and the Twitter account as well. Clearly, we were not going to sell the social media profiles to this guy who didn't do all the hard work like we did. You can't make this shit up. You really can't make this shit up, folks. But we couldn't just allow C to continue using Discord and ruining Lee's image. You didn't make a contract, and from the sounds of it, you never told C you were going to want him to act 24/7 on the channel at the beginning of this whole project. It sounds like you slowly added more and more to his job description as and when you felt like it. You wanted him to be Lee on all social media, on all Discord calls, and text, always to your beat and never slip up. That's an impossible task, especially when not agreed upon. My partner and I told C that he should cut down on how much he used the Discord account, but he didn't respect our wishes. Geez, I wonder why, considering C had created a few, from what I've gathered, strong friendships, and that at this time, to keep up your character image, he could only speak to them through the PrettyLoneLee account. I don't think he was just gonna drop them and stop talking to them out of nowhere. We began constantly arguing with C for over a month, hence why there was such a long gap in videos before the end of October. My partner and I began seeking replacements for C. While he was still playing the character, allowed to use the Discord and social media accounts? That's cold. But couldn't find anyone who could do a believable enough impression. C began a very public flirtation with another content creator that we didn't approve of. And that's where we drew the line. I'm sorry, are you his parents? No, for real. The wording here sounds like an angry father talking to his daughter about how their love interest isn't good and he'd never accept them. This is insane. C had begun threatening to quit doing recordings for us or to tell everyone that Lee wasn't real. Considering the amount of work you were asking of him, the fact you were telling him to stop talking to people because you didn't approve, but he could only talk to these people through Lee unless he exposed the truth, then yeah, I don't blame him threatening to quit and expose you two nut jobs. So we decided that if he was going to strong-arm us, we were going to beat him to it. We changed the passwords on every social media platform and blocked him out of the account. He began making alternate accounts to try and expose us, which we constantly blocked. Understandable why he did this, considering he only knew the friends and fans he had made through those accounts, and he wanted to let them know that he was okay and, didn't actually die. In order to prevent him from trying to rejoin the community, we announced his death in early November. You could have, and this might sound just a little crazy, stopped and explained that, hey, Lee was a character. You were not his actual IRL friends, but in fact his employers. I'm using that term vaguely. You didn't agree with the VA, or you could have admitted to trying to control their whole life. And so you blocked him from accessing anything such as his work, his friends, his personal private messages. But no, you just went, let's just fake a death. Every detail, let's just mess with some people and mess up their lives as well. And only admit the truth when legal action is threatened. We knew that by severing his personal ties with the community and making it to where the fellow content creators didn't feel that he was trustworthy, it would keep him away. Alright, but that makes no sense, 'cause at this point, everyone thought he was dead and nobody knew this? It's only now that you suddenly come out of nowhere telling everyone he isn't dead and the stuff you did to keep him away. Also, do you really not see how disgusting and toxic what you did is? All because he wouldn't be your little, ooh, woo, cinnamon roll, Mary Sue OC. Jamie, what the actual hell is going through your mind? After his death, C finished recording the 3 remaining videos we paid him for before Christmas. Yet videos are still monetized, including new videos. I'm taking it that C has never seen any of the income from any of the videos, with all the income going to you and your partner, with C only getting whatever you pay him for, which I'm also going to assume is not a fair amount. This is me just guessing from context clues and from the way you've treated your talent. But I digress. I'm getting off topic here, and I don't have any evidence or proof of this. Just theorizing. We have a backlog of nearly 30 videos, so we thought we would just release them slowly for the next year, and that would be the end of it. That's really funny, Jamie. Considering on the Discord server you stated at one point that you'd release as many as you could as quickly as you could because you couldn't bear listening to Lee's voice due to the pain it caused. Though no wonder it's taken so long for only 4 videos to be released by you over a few months, considering C was editing all the videos before and you were just raking in the coin and playing with your little human puppet. Also, a little extra point here while I've been rereading through this and recording these lines. So, you say here, and that would be the end of it. That's funny because in the beginning of the statement you say you were looking for a new VA to replace C, and in the comment section of this whole statement you say you're still looking for someone to replace C. So that's bullshit that you were ever going to end it. You were just going to replace him no matter what. Little did we know C has been leaking information on Discord and using his Twitch profile to prove he's still alive, which is idiotic because we never claimed that C had died, only Lee. This is some bullshit backtracking, as you had never told the audience or his friends up until this moment that Lee was just a character. You had never told anyone that C was a voice actor, so this statement is just a flat out fat lie. C is quite vulgar in his speech, provocative, and doesn't represent what we want Lee to be remembered as at all. What? As a voice actor who was overworked, manipulated, and abused by the pair of you? Because I know that's what I'll forever remember Lee as. An overworked voice actor who deserved far better. C frequently says what we've done is manipulative and abusive, and that we are somehow evil for wanting to protect our character's story in this way. Jamie, where's the lie? I mean, I'm looking high, I'm looking low, I'm looking left, I'm looking right, but I just can't seem to find where the lie is in that statement. Moving forward, we suggest that you all avoid the PrettyLoneLee Twitch channel, as C still has access to it and unbecomingly streams himself and his toxic opinions about our choice frequently. Now, unfortunately, either C has not archived any of these streams, or this is another lie, as the Twitch channel under this name has not been active in a long time and has no content on it. And when speaking to other people who have been kind of looking into what the hell happened, none of them seem to have ever seen a stream ever pop up. So I'm gonna go with the this was probably a lie kind of thing. We also suggest ignoring any claims that Lee is still alive. C may live, but Lee is dead. I feel like you thought you were so damn cool with that final line, but it just comes across as sad and edgy, and I should know half the shit I say on my channel is nothing but sad and high school levels of edgy, because I never grew out of that phase. Going back to a few minutes ago, before I read that whole mess of a statement, we looked at how Jamie claimed that one of the other main mods, Watchful, had died after a suicide attempt. I wanted to talk about this in more depth here after you have heard the first full statement. Due to the implications of this statement, that leaves us with 2 main options on the fate of Watchful. Option A, Watchful, like the rest of the audience, didn't know that Lee was a fictional character. They believed every word that Jamie told them, and unfortunately over time it was far too much for them to handle. and they unfortunately took a drastic measure that led to their death. I am very much hoping that this is not the case, especially for Jamie's sake. Option B is that Watchful did know about Lee being a character, working with Jamie to create all the fake facts and string along everyone after Jamie fell out with C. I feel like this is a possible stronger theory, however that misses out the big question. Why then say Watchful died? Well, that takes us to option B.1. Watchful and Jamie at times in the Discord posted different versions of events and even argued with each other publicly at times in the main text channel. This leads me to believe that either Watchful grew conscious about what they had been doing and seen the real devastating effects it was having on the people they were stringing along, or that Watchful disagreed with Jamie on parts of the story being created. Either way, I think that Jamie decided that she didn't want Watchful around anymore and decided to use the same method she had used to remove C, a tragic death. However, as I said, I only have the word of Jamie, which, from this statement alone, is as trustworthy as a chocolate fireplace, that Watchful died. And with no other evidence, nor any sign of Watchful popping their head up online under that same name, I unfortunately have to leave this section here without conclusion. But I felt that it was important to mention, as it was a main point in the play of events. I think I can speak on behalf of the fans of Lee in stating that none of us had seen any of this coming, save for the few that believed that Lee had never died, and to those people I feel that they deserve an apology for being thrown under the bus for their theories. After the statement was posted, it largely received backlash on both Twitter and YouTube, with Jamie and their partner being called out and criticized. However, only positive comments had any reply from Jamie, with one of the replies even stating that they plan to look for another VA to replace C and continue the Lee character. To which I say, from the bottom of my heart, if any voice actor is contacted with this offer, please run away to the hills and never look back. Because from what they are admitting to in this statement, which, by the way, they think makes them look good and like the victim, they clearly mistreat not only their actors but their audiences as well, not caring who they hurt, all so that they can save their precious character. Unfortunately, as for C at this point, the real force behind the channel and all of its content, we didn't have any information. We don't know who they were, how they were doing, or if they really had been scared off of YouTube for good thanks to these two idiots. Though I had hoped that C would see the backlash that his employers, again using that term super loosely, were receiving, and that someday he might come out and start his own channel where he could be himself, as I'm sure he's got all of his fans ready to move on over and support him in his own endeavors, especially when knowing that the PrettyLoneLee channel was his hard work, his talented voice, and his creative storytelling. I honestly don't know how or if the story will progress, but I know I'll be watching on the sidelines in the hopes that C will appear again, new characters and new stories in tow. And that should have been the end of the video. I finished the script at around 5 AM on the 29th of March. Sure, there were some edits needed here and there, but I had planned to wake up, get on, and have it recorded for the next day to upload. I woke up at around 10 AM to find multiple new tweets mentioning PrettyLoneLee, and, to my utmost horror, soon found out that Jamie wasn't done with her community post just yet. So, are you ready for round 2? Revenge of the Hellish Statements? Alrighty then. Hello again, it's Jamie, and I have a lot to say. Firstly, we hear you. Wow, that's just great to hear. I'm sure you've taken on over the 100+ comments talking about how messed up the situation is, and you're ready to apologize, not only to the audience for stringing them along, but also to C for how you treated them. Right? We understand the concerns that many of you have shared with us. However, we feel that the overwhelmingly negative reaction may be a bit extreme. What? What? I don't enjoy pointing out that this is reminiscent of the many flaws of cancel culture. You mean getting criticism after publicly admitting you were trying to turn a living person into a puppet, abused your power and bullied him off his platform before telling a large audience that the person they admired had tragically died? You can't be serious, right? But that is certainly how it feels to be on the receiving end of so much hate. How do you think everyone felt, Jamie, yesterday after being told a person they thought had died in a traumatic way was actually very much alive and that their emotions had been manipulated also that you could save a character? How do you think they felt? So many of you have graciously informed my partner and me that what we did was wrong and suggested how we could have handled things differently. But so far, no one has made any reasonable suggestions for what we can do moving forward. Quit? Never return to YouTube? Apologize to C? Apologize to the fans? Admit what you did was wrong? I mean, I could go on with a list of all the ways you could start to try and build bridges again. Like, that doesn't directly oppose our own interests. Ah, I see. So in other words, you're just hoping that everyone is going to look sad and go, "Aw, it's okay. You just made a little mistake. We forgive you and will support you no matter what." You're actually delusional if you think the majority, if anyone, will do that. So we would love to hear your thoughts on what you would like us to do, not what you would have liked us to have done before this unfolded. I know it isn't in your interests, as you clearly think you're in the right, but the only real option you have is to apologize. To C, to the fans, to everyone you put through a hellish few weeks on the Discord, everyone. It would show you at least have some humanity in you, and maybe, just maybe, that you actually cared about the people you hurt, and not just your stupid fictional character that you've already murdered, may I remind you, and the number game that is YouTube. I realized that there were certain things that could have been handled in a slightly more professional fashion. No. Everything could have been handled better. Right from the start, you could have been upfront with your vocal talent about what they needed to do in order for your experiment to run smoothly. You're now acting like this is a business, after telling everyone for months on Discord that you knew Lee IRL. So if it is a business now, it should have always been one, not the hot mess it turned into. However, we were just doing what we thought was the best thing at the time. When was faking a death, giving us fake gruesomely detailed updates and creating a whole fictional life claiming it was true the best thing at any time? You're talking for your ass and you damn well know it. Can you come up with something new? Because this record is getting hellishly stale at this point. Additionally, any claim that we bullied, dehumanized, or abused the performer, who we will never be naming on this channel, that played Lee is a complete misrepresentation of the situation. I'm sorry, you mean all of these? They weren't you? That wasn't your words? You're really sure about that? Maybe you've got some memory issues, considering these alone are from the past 24 hours around when this was posted. Some of them were even from after this post was made by you in the comment section. If our goal was to bully this actor, we would have been openly slut-shaming him, highlighting his alcoholism, or targeting him for his general pessimism. But we didn't do that. Jamie, guess what? See that whole sentence there? That's bullying. You literally just said, in the same line, that you've never done this, and yet you also did this in the statement before. You really are thicker than thick. The so-called death hoax was a calculated decision that would isolate him from the community in a way that would prevent him from having the platform or support system to impact the legacy of Lee. Jamie, that's bullying someone, you actual living wet paper bag. We did not bully the actor. We did not dehumanize him. You really are so bad at lying. It's hilarious. You've admitted to doing all these things within the last 4 lines alone. And if this is what you're admitting, I am hellishly worried to hear just how bad you might have actually treated the voice actor. And we certainly did not abuse him. Any accusations of that nature show a lack of critical thinking skills on par with that of Lee's former voice provider. Darling, if you think that C was thick, I really don't want to know what you think of yourself, because clearly you don't understand how not to dig your own grave, or when to stop typing, because between the 2 posts you've made and multiple comments, you've given everyone enough evidence that you don't know how to A. successfully run a channel with a third-party voice actor, B. apologize, or C. save yourself when you're caught in your own web of lies. So again, please let us know what you'd like to hear from us moving forward. An apology and then nothing more might be your best case of surviving this. Other than more content, obviously, LOL, we've already got another video that the original Lee recorded ready to upload by the end of the week. I'm glad you find it funny. Really, I do. After all, there might not be a channel left standing for you to monetize soon enough. Also, openly admitting to what you've done, what you're planning to do in the future, and still no apology to anyone. My, it's like Jeffree Star had a child. We also want to say a quick thank you to those who've expressed interest in filling the role of Lee. We will likely do a casting process in roughly a month to find a new performer. I honestly hope this is you just fluffing your own feathers, and that no one has been daft enough to reach out to take over the role. If they have, I honestly give them the best of luck, because it sounds like working for you is worse than working in a sweatshop. So, that's 2 statements down. Multiple comments within these, all admitting to various things that happened, but never admitting the deeply messed up details, or accepting what they have done is wrong, and, drumroll please, still no apology. Are we shocked, boys and girls? So, another day, another statement. I swear it's like Groundhog's Day every morning this week. So, when I had originally seen the first statement, I was on my phone and thought, hey, I'll record it while I'm reading it for the first time. A live reaction. Good idea, right? Wrong, because apparently the audio decided to corrupt, and when I went to listen to it, it sounded like I was trapped in... So, once again, here we are. Oh, let's hope this is the last one. Let me just take a moment to share my perspective on the VA himself. Oh boy, I've got a bad feeling about this. and why I believe there's such an intense degree of separation between where I stand and where the majority of the audience stands on the issues at play. You mean the majority of the audience believing that you're deeply in the wrong and certainly not a victim in this situation? This situation that you created and could have stopped at any time? C is a perfect study of the concept of human aposmatism. Oh my god, you're seriously gonna go down this road? This road? Really? Aposmatism is a biological function in which animals develop striking colorizations as a warning to predators that they are toxic or lethal to consume. Sweet Lord. No, please. Continue, Jamie. C's outward attractiveness. Actually, no. Let me stop you for a moment. You've already stated you fully controlled how C dressed, looked, and acted, so that would mean you asked him to dye his hair lilac. Also, on top of this, he dyed his hair. He wasn't bitten by some radioactive spider and didn't turn into Spider-Man, but instead became a venomous half-man, half-spider with brightly colored hair to warn others about him. And visual remarkability. See the image attached. Serve as his way of subconsciously warning those around him of the toxicity within. You want to know what this sounds like in complete brutal honesty? This sounds like a soured lover. This is so overdramatic. I have to keep checking that I've not accidentally clicked on the wrong tab, because this is written like a 14-year-old's first fanfiction. And before anyone asks,
at Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
It seems that our viewers fell for the same charm we did. C is very charismatic and instantly likable. He truly is a masterclass in performative humanity, authenticity. Because he won't be my little OC IRL all the time. He clearly has no humanity, and I'm going to start hinting to people that he was never authentic so that they question their own relationships with him, because he made me big sad. Do you see how ridiculous you're appearing, Jamie? He managed to convince almost 6,000 people he was a quaint Irish boy and a hopeless romantic. Alright, for real, no shit to see. His voice acting is amazing, and he does some pretty convincing accents. However, there have been plenty of times that he has slipped out of the accent, and I 100% get that. Accents are a bitch to do. However, for a long while, plenty of people have debated about his accent online and whether or not it was authentic or not, especially when talk of him not being dead started to grow. To the same end, he convinced me and my partner that he was not only a kind and incredibly likable, but also a supportive friend. Ah yes, what could possibly go wrong here? Saying we're going to start a business with a voice actor that we don't know extremely well, but don't make any contracts with also, say we'll run it like friends, but then overwork the VA completely. I mean,
what could possibly go wrong?
The tragedy here is that the appearance of warmth is merely a shallow veneer, and underneath is a truly broken and problematic person. Ooh, we've really been reading the dictionary for these last two statements to find some fancy words, haven't we? C is incredibly cold and unwilling to compromise. Correction, from what we've been told, C was not willing to keep working under your thumb and then got extremely pissed, which is understandable, when you claimed he had died under the online persona you had created and hired him to play, and blocked him out of all of the accounts. He may be flirty, but his methods are more along the lines of temptress, snake, or succubus. Again, this legitimately sounds like someone who has been scorned, who truly believes they are the victim. Also, Jamie, I see what you've done here. Whether it was intentional or subconscious, I don't know. But considering you've been able to use he, him pronouns up until this little blip, you're using some pretty fancy words, but you couldn't use masculine equivalents for temptress and succubus? I don't know, but whether it was subconscious or intentional, I don't stand for that kind of shit. The least you could do is respect pronouns. But, and I bet you didn't expect this one to appear in the video, I've noticed that some of your new Discord members can't do that either, huh? But I'll talk more about the Discord in a little bit. You know, I just love it when new evidence comes in. It really helps to build a better picture of the situation, don't you think? And that his motivation for this behavior is not that of seeking affection or sharing personal connection with those around him, but rather it is his twisted attempt to aggrandise himself. Yo, is anyone got a new record to put on? This one's starting to send me to sleep. His charisma has manipulated you all into pedestaling him as some invaluable underdog. But I've seen through the smoke and mirrors and hope this insight allows you to see it as well. Let's talk about this a little bit for a moment. In the land of social media, especially for actors and YouTubers, it's very easy for us as fans to place these people we tend to look up to and admire on a pedestal, thinking they could do no wrong or forgive them for things that they maybe shouldn't be forgiven for. I'm looking at you, YouTube, with the Paul brothers. However, it's important that we remember these people are just that, people, living humans who can do things that are wrong and that their actions should be treated as they would be for your average Joe. However, without putting C on a pedestal here, currently I would back his horse over Jamie's as to who is in the right in this situation. Not that I would say all of C's actions have been wise choices, such as picking fights with other creators for an example. But out of the two of them, if you had to pick a victim, who would you choose? I think this context may hopefully de-radicalize some of your stances on this situation. Calm down there, you ain't exactly got rioters banging down your door or people headhunting you. And may better enlighten the circumstances leading up to the current point in time. Thanks, Jamie. It's been a little while since I've tried to work on this video. In fact, I'd planned on never releasing it. This was due to a miscommunication, and that was cleared up, but I still debated for a while if it was my place to release this video or talk about all this. In the time I had stopped creating this video, a few things happened. For one, C reappeared online again, creating a Twitter account in which he made a handful of tweets mentioning that he was planning on creating a statement on his side of the story. I got in contact with C. I was also in contact with a few amazing people who were able to provide me with evidence, who have asked to remain unnamed, which I fully understand, but I want to be able to say a massive thank you to them. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have a large amount of the evidence you see in this video. Jamie deleted all previous statements that were in this video. Jamie uploaded a new ASMR video that featured C's voice and talent. Jamie created another statement. C removed all of the tweets and blanked out his Twitter profile, not responding to anyone, around 1 hour after the statement was released. There were some leaks from the new Discord server created by Jamie for the new and quote-unquote improved PrettyLoneLee channel. For a moment, let's first look at the Discord leaks. Now I'm going to say the person I got these from is a pretty credible source. Though these were given to them, then I got access to them, so I'm counting these as a second-hand source, for lack of a better term. I honestly believe they're real, but I can't prove that as I do not personally have access to the Discord server. So take them with a pinch of salt. back to the point at hand. Unfortunately, I cannot make a confident call on who these users are in the screenshots, though I think it is safe to say that it is more than likely that Foreign, also known as Foreign Daddy, I cannot believe I just had to say that out loud, and Boo Fran for Gun are the new usernames used by Jamie and possibly her partner. This guess is coming from the use of the term dear between the two users and the knowledge of the VA's personal life, or so they claim, that both these users seem to be spreading in the server. Now let me be real here for a minute. I don't care what kind of work you do. Legit. So long as it's not hurting you, it's not hurting others, everyone's good with it, that's your business, that's your life. I also don't care about people's past. For the most part, I mean, if you're a serial murderer or the like, I'm gonna be backing away, but I think you get my point. I'm pretty non-judgmental. You know, your life, your thing. If you've done something in the past that you don't want to be linked to you, you do something you don't want mixed in with your personal life, or something happened to you in your past that isn't a part of the person you are now, that's chill. You're chill and you're 100% big time valid. But you know what I hate, and I mean truly hate? Little freaks who get off on using personal information about another person to try and justify their actions. This shit right here has the same stance as, oh well, she was acting flirty, so she clearly wanted it. It's fucking disgusting. And then we have this piece of work. Even if we had been abusive knowing him, he would have probably liked it. What kind of person says that kind of shit? You really think that you are both gods in this situation, don't you? You think you can just throw out somebody's personal information? Information they clearly, but foolishly, trusted you with. All to try and prove that you're innocent? Who the fuck does that? And this is just what's been leaked. I don't even want to imagine the other shit you and your blind followers are posting. Though, let me guess, by the time you fully reopen or the next soft opening of the server happens, and you let other people in, it'll all be squeaky clean, right? With all of these events combined, I decided that I wanted to finish what I had started. So, for our final time, at least for this video, let's dive into what is currently the last statement on the situation made by Jamie. Hello again, it's Jamie. No way. Really? I've taken more time than my previous community posts to think about the situations from multiple perspectives I hadn't previously considered with the care they deserved. Bullshit. That being said, I would like to apologize to anyone who was hurt by the situation. I understand that it has been quite traumatizing for some of you, and I sympathize with that pain immensely. Bullshit. I should have handled the VA leaving the channel more strategically and gracefully than I did, and I truly regret the harm and confusion that resulted from my miscalculations. No. No. You don't get the right to come out with that shit. You regret admitting to lying. You regret the backlash you received. But you do not regret anything you've done to anyone, and you are not apologetic. If you really were, you would have fully admitted to everything you did, everything you had said, and would have left YouTube with an actual apology being given to everyone. I just want to make it abundantly clear that it was never my intent to cause such distress to this audience, especially the more vulnerable members of our little community. You can't stop lying, can you, Jamie? Oh my god, this is hilarious. If that was true, you would have never put anyone, especially the vulnerable and younger members of the community, which you knew a lot of them because they spoke a lot about their vulnerabilities in the Discord server. You wouldn't have put them through all that. You would have been honest. But you can't be honest, can you? When I made the difficult decisions I was making, I could not have foreseen the damage they would have caused. Yes, you could have. When you mentioned that Lee had went missing, you seen just how stressed the Discord server users were. You seen just how upset and hopeless they felt as the days went by and you dragged it on. You could have stopped at any point, but you just kept on going, didn't you? And like every human being, I was simply doing what I thought was the best thing at the moment in time. I can't believe that you really ever thought this was ever the best move. There's no way any decent human being could ever think any of the actions you took were decent or the best thing to do at any point. What I will not apologize for are the claims of abuse and manipulation against our former talent. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? It is clear that many of you have been gaslit into believing that they are somehow a victim in this. You mean besides the fans? Because as far as I'm concerned, the only victims in this are the fans and the voice actor C. But they are the ones to blame. Jamie, are we on the same story here? Because clearly you're reading something far different than the rest of us if you think that the blameable party is solely on C. The VA in question actively behaved in a way that conflicted with what they had agreed upon with me. But you said there was no contract. That you and your partner were going to work with C as if you were friends? And what happened to your partner in this? I thought they were just as much involved in this whole shit show as you. But you've not mentioned them since like post 1. What's up with that? I spent a lot of money and time trying to shape this performer into the perfect representation of a fictional character, and clearly they were not qualified. First, what did you spend money on? If you mean giving C a cut of the video's profits, that does not count as you spending money. That's paying your talent. Also, not qualified? No one is qualified to be turned into your fictional character 24/7. If the VA had ever felt like they were being manipulated, dehumanized, objectified, abused, etc., I don't see why they would have not been so passive and accepting of our criticisms. Jamie, can you not keep up with what you've said? You've said that C did disagree with multiple actions you were taking already, such as when he wanted to lose weight. You told him he wasn't allowed to because little Lee's a chubby softy. And so only since you blocked him out, you started to publicly slut-shame him, objectify him, dehumanize him, and fully admit in your posts to behaving in ways that are textbook scenarios of abuse and manipulation, as seen in all the evidence I have provided in this video, be it me reading out these statements or the screenshots that I've provided along the way. And eventually the strong-arm tactic we used to remove them from the community. They've yet to make any public statements addressing the situation as a whole, and I feel that this is because of one of many reasons. Reason A, the VA does not feel that they were abused or victimized in any way, but is afraid to speak out because of how galvanized you all have been in directing hate at me. Keep this in mind. I'm going to come back to this point in a little bit. Option B, the VA simply does not care about any of you to the extent you think they do, and can't be bothered to speak on the issues as they have already moved on. This theory can be rolled out as C did publicly state on Twitter that he had planned to do a statement. Option C. The VA is taking an excessive amount of time to finally craft and calculate a public statement that would maximize the amount of emotional manipulation to their benefit. Option D. Any combination of the previous reasons. But enough about the VA, who I still believe is toxic and should be avoided by all of you. Let's talk about the other news. We are taking the death threats made against us seriously and will be taking legal action against all those involved. I can't say I've personally seen a single public death threat made against Jamie. However, I can't speak on if she got these in her DMs or in another way. However, I'm going to make it a point to mention here, just so I've said this, though I think this is painfully obvious, and I'm pretty sure you're all smart enough to know this, but don't go and harass Jamie, or send death threats, or any of that shit. It's not worth it. By all means, spread the word of what they've done, and everything that has happened involving the PrettyLoneLee channel, but don't stoop to her level, or give her ammo to use to claim that she is, at any point in this whole mess, the victim. Alright? Alright. Also, speaking of legal action, what happened to that? On the first post, you claimed you were only coming out with the truth, as you put it, because legal action had been threatened against you. Then, all of a sudden, you've never mentioned this again, and if it was true from the beginning, bloody hell, you've given your pursuer quite the pretty amount of evidence over these posts. The Discord soft rollout has been a massive success. Thank you to those of you who have joined. It is difficult to withhold our excitement about the next step in the rebuilding of the channel. Ah yes, so far the Discord's full of twats and people who are willing to kiss your ass. Such a great server. Finally, and most importantly, a replacement voice actor has been found. Now, I just want to say I've got nothing against this voice actor. However, I really hope that they understand the situation that they're entering and who they're working with. Besides that, I honestly wish them the best of luck. The plan was to find a qualified VA to play a new character on this channel, but the performer can do a convincing enough impression that with slight digital altering, we believe we can make it seem as if there never was a change in the voice provider to begin with. But you're making a new character. Wouldn't they have a different voice? Oh, no, wait! I'm stupid! It was C's voice everyone came for, right? So without that voice, you'd probably lose even more subscribers. What a shame. Cannot wait to share more good news with you all as we continue to march forward. Stay safe, Jamie. As I said, around an hour after the statement was released, C, out of nowhere, deleted everything that he had posted on Twitter, blacking out the profile as well. A few people have tried to reach out to him, with no answer as far as I know so far, so it's truly unclear on why C has gone back into hiding, though I will admit I have my suspicions. Now, I want to make it extremely clear that this whole area, this bit here, this is just a theory on why I think C has possibly gone back into hiding. I am in no way saying that Jamie or their partner have done this, but with that being said, let's look at this theory. Let's take a look back at this part of the statement. The VA does not feel they were abused or victimized in any way, but is afraid to speak of because of how galvanized you've all been in directing hate towards me. You're probably wondering where I'm going with this, but bear with me for a second. I'm gonna tell you a little story. Speaking from personal experience, I've been in relationships, such as friendships, when I was younger that were very toxic. These friendships were filled with a lot of manipulation, empty threats, and guilt tripping. In one of these friendships, I was finally sick of being treated the way I was. I was struggling to deal with the shit I was being put through, and I finally got the courage and guts to tell this person that I didn't want anything to do with them anymore, and I was never going to talk to them again. This was during my high school years, and you know what high school's like. Pretty soon rumors started to spread, and soon this person started to receive hate when people found out just how they had been treating me. A few weeks later, the person cornered me in a hallway and started to threaten me, telling me that I better tell everyone that they never treated me the way they did. I told them I wouldn't because people deserved to know how they had treated me and what I'd been put through. That's when they told me if I didn't do what they said, they were going to kill themselves and it would be my fault and I'd never be able to live with myself. Like I said, I'm in no way saying this is something that Jamie did to C, or that Jamie's partner friend C. However, from all the community posts, the language that Jamie uses, and then C vanishing once again, it wouldn't shock me if in some way, whether it be similar to my experiences or in another way, such as threatening to share information that was personal to C, that Jamie might have blackmailed C into silence. But like I said, that's all just theorizing, so take it with a pinch of salt and come up with your own conclusions. Unfortunately, this is where the video is going to come to an end. At this current moment, we are left with so many questions, and I doubt that we will get any answers anytime soon, if even at all, whether they be from Jamie or C. But this is where you, the listeners, come in. You've now seen the evidence, you can see what has happened, and that Jamie appears to have no regret for what she did, save for the backlash, which, even up to an hour ago, she's deleting off of the current community posts. Currently, as I look, there's roughly about 24 comments on said current post, and they're all positive, but I've definitely seen a lot of backlash comments, but they just get deleted, which, I hate to tell you, Jamie, it doesn't look good for you. If you could share this video, tweet about it, tweet about the situation, make your own video, anything to spread the word of what has happened, that would be amazing. It's sad to say, but it wouldn't surprise me if things like this have happened before in the ASMR, or heck, just the YouTube community, and unfortunately, it will probably happen again. But if we can do something to highlight this case, this situation, and stop the channel from continuing, especially in the direction it's going, it would be a step in the right direction. I don't know how C is currently doing. However, wherever C is, I hope he's doing okay. He deserves to have a second chance, to be able to share his side of the story, and to be able to have a chance to create his own channel, and to be able to make it in his own way without being controlled. Hey everyone, if you stuck around to the end, I want to thank you so much. After all the shit everyone was put through concerning this, I wanted to share what had finally been revealed. If you liked the video, please think about sharing it, spread the word around. Maybe? Maybe not? Did you enjoy the video? Did you not? Or do you want to tell me that I missed something? If so, please let me know in the comments below. I'll read them and reply to as many of them as I can. If there are any updates, I'll post them to a pinned comment and in the description in the order that I find them in. I also just want to say a big thank you to everyone that I got in contact with again. You've all been so amazing and great, and like I said, without you, I wouldn't have half the evidence that I used in this video. I also want to say thank you to my boyfriend. He's been amazing putting up with me going through the script for like the last couple of days and double checking that I don't sound crazy. And I just want to thank him because honestly, he's just such an amazing guy. Thanks again for everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.